Yo, what's up, everybody? Yeah, welcome to my Dolce show. We are coming in hot today with news. UFC fighter and former NFL athlete Greg Hardy was disqualified from last night's UFC in Boston for in competition use of a prohibited substance. This is crazy talk. I've never seen this before in my 20 plus years working at the UFC level. Now, what happened? Greg Hardy utilized an albuterol inhaler between rounds 1 and 2 and rounds 2 and 3. This set off a media firestorm. Everyone basically freaking out, screaming about how this was illegal. Now, Hardy makes the claim that he was given approval from the Massachusetts State Athletic Commission to use this inhaler, to which the UFC immediately refuted and said this is not true. Now, let's break down the fight. Hardy won a lackluster decision over a gimme opponent. Someone at Hardy's level should have tougher competition, as many athletes with less experience than Hardy in the UFC have fought much tougher opposition over the course of their career. Greg Hardy has basically been hand-picked opponents to build him, which is fine. That's the promoter's discretion to do so. I'm against it. Hardy is an NFL athlete, relatively skilled, and he's given a stream of easy opponents. That being said, Hardy won a lackluster decision over one of these opponents. Okay, fine. He's still working out the jitters. I'm not mad at him about that. But Hardy has an infamous reputation. But not a lot of people like Greg Hardy, and I don't know Greg at all, so I'm not really going to offer an opinion. He was involved in domestic abuse allegations during his NFL career, and I believe, now you can fact check this, that is why he was released from the league for domestic abuse issues. That is a whole nother situation. But the situation at hand has to go with Hardy looking to, in my opinion, bend the rules. Again, I've never seen this before. He actually received an inhaler from his coach in the middle of competition while sitting on the stool and sucked down the albuterol, which is a very powerful performance-enhancing substance. But to Hardy's defense, and this, I want to be unbiased here because I don't know. Greg Hardy, I could give or take him. I don't really have an opinion here. I'm just here to watch the fights. Now, on USADA's website, USADA governs the drug testing for the UFC, and USADA is the most powerful drug testing agency in the United States. They are a subsidiary of WADA, the most powerful drug testing agency on the planet. Now, in this fact on the USADA website, and I'll actually post this right now into the live stream for those watching on the YouTube channel. Hello. You guys can actually click on this and learn from it. And also an MMA fighting article written by my good friend, Mr. Damon Martin. You can actually read this also. So these are the sources of this conversation I'm having with you. But on the USADA website, it says that athletes are often prescribed medications delivered by inhalers, but for the athletes subject to anti-doping rules and drug testing, it's critical to understand how to use inhaled medications within the rules. Now, this is their fact sheet. It says, can I use my inhaler in sport? Meter doses that contain glucocorticoids are permitted. However, all inhaled beta-2 agonists are either prohibited or allowed only under a certain dose. And it goes on to say, as of 2018, there are 3 inhaled beta-2 agonists that are permitted. Inhaled albuterol to a maximum of 1,600 micrograms over 24 hours in divided doses. Inhaled formoterol, inhaled salmeterol. Now, to find out whether your inhaler is permitted in sport, search for the brand, yada, 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 and it continues to go on. So what this essentially says on the USADA website, little confusing, that it's illegal unless it's used to a certain dose limit. Now, the MMA Fighting article by Damon Martin goes on to say Greg Hardy's win has been overturned to a no contest after he used an inhaler between the second and third rounds during the fight. Unless pre-approved. Now, this seems to be the law that precipitated Hardy's disqualification. Unless pre-approved by the Massachusetts State Athletic Commission, the use of an inhaler is illegal. At the post-fight press conference, UFC President Dana White said Hardy's corner and coach Dean Thomas told him a ringside inspector gave Hardy the okay when asked to use the medicine between rounds. Hardy also claimed the commission gave him explicit permission, but the UFC immediately disputed that and announced the overturning of his unanimous decision win. A request for comment for the Massachusetts State Athletic Commission was not immediately returned, and it goes on and goes on from there. Now, Mark Ratner, which is a UFC's vice president of regulatory affairs, said it is completely illegal and it is against all the rules. Now, that being said, let's pivot back here. What do you guys think? Leave a comment below this video when this video posts. I would love to hear what you guys think about this incident of Greg Hardy. This is just another one of the blights against Greg Hardy's name. And I don't know if Greg Hardy is a good guy or a bad guy trying to now become a good guy. I don't know if he's trying to work his way to make a turn and become a better person. Again, he was clouded in the domestic abuse allegations during his NFL career. Those allegations have followed him through the media to his current career inside the UFC. He has been widely criticized for his behavior and for his antics, and also for the softball opponents being thrown at him. Now, this is an unwinnable battle in many ways for Greg Hardy. And again, I'm reserving my opinion, whether good or bad or otherwise. But factually, here he is once again embroiled in further controversy. And my goodness, that's not good. Some people, wherever they go, controversy surrounds them, and it's by their own doing. In this case, this appears to be, in my opinion now, this is Greg Hardy's own doing. Now, I and any of my athletes have never been in this situation. Some athletes I have worked with and tons of athletes I'm aware of do have asthma issues. They are legally prescribed inhalers for their asthma, which is a legitimate medical issue. But at the same time, when you're competing in the UFC under the rules of USADA and sanctioned by local athletic commissions, you must conduct yourself in a manner that adheres to their rules. And it is the fault of the athlete ultimately if they break any of these rules along the way. And not knowing these rules and not being compliant to these rules, this is the big issue here. This is the problem. But also, an albuterol inhaler is a performance enhancer. It absolutely is. And Hardy did make a statement that's a little fugazi. And he said, listen, I'm just using the inhaler not so I have an advantage, just so I can breathe normally. And that would not be true, in my opinion, because we know that albuterol inhalers give supra-physiological effects for short periods of time. You don't have just kind of so average person lungs. You get super lungs for a period of time. This could give an athlete legally prescribed the benefit of a performance enhancing effect. So that's something that should be said. Now, is there a true medical need? Well, that's up to Hardy's doctors and Hardy's management team and the athletic commission and the UFC regulatory body and those of USADA. Kind of a longer conversation here to see if Hardy is allowed to have such things. Now, I should say, remember, Lyoto Machida was suspended for 2 years for taking a DHEA supplement he purchased at Whole Foods. It's like taking a vitamin D supplement. Now, we all know the USADA rules are so freaking insane to consume anything. I mean, shoot, I want to get my water tested if I'm competing under USADA, and I want USADA to know, hey, man, I'm drinking tap water. Is that okay? Like, give me a written authorization to do so here because I'm so freaked out by USADA. We all know this. And this is the world that we live in. So what do you guys think? Leave comments below this video. I'm going to go 2 minutes here to answer a couple quick questions, and then I do have to jump off. I wanted to get on the microphone today and have this conversation with you. Greg Hardy disqualified from a victorious performance at UFC Boston. Dude was disqualified. That sucks. I feel bad for him. But at the same time, what are you doing puffing an inhaler between rounds 2 and 3? What is your team doing? What are your coaches doing? Why do they even have that in the freaking pocket? What? Give them a baseball bat. Why don't you? Why do you got a pocket knife maybe? I'm just having a little fun here, a little satire, but still, come on. Armin, best fitness coach ever. Thanks, Armin. And by the way, guys, subscribe to this channel. Click on that little bell for the notifications and give this video a thumbs up. We drop new impromptu videos every single day, some of which, just like this, I turn on the cameras and I go hot and I speak my mind. Other ones we put out our Car Talk series. If you have not watched yesterday's video, is it worth it? Definitely go back and watch yesterday's video. Is it worth it? Success for some people is not going to make you happier. That's what I break down. I break down a pretty simple test for you to understand how you will be most happy in your life. Maybe you shouldn't be a business owner. Maybe you shouldn't be rich. Maybe you shouldn't set and attain your goals because that might not bring about the happiness you're looking for. Sounds a little confusing, but I break this down. Is it worth it? Is success really worth it? And I teach you how to understand what level of success would make you most happy. Most people think they want to have the success of a Mark Zuckerberg, but the vast majority of you will ruin your life in trying to achieve what Zuckerberg has done. And if you actually get there, you will hate your life even more because that's not a life of joy and freedom and happiness for you. So is it worth it? Check out yesterday's video. Armin, Dolce knows best. Boom. Angel, F you, Dolce, F you, Angel. Frank Wells, what's up, my brother? Also, I'll bump up to 120 and fight socially. I think we're the same height. I knew it was exactly. Jacob, Mike Dolce, always dropping truth. Boom. Aaron, F you, Dolce. Good afternoon, bro. I was wondering your thoughts on FST7. Thanks for the content. Is that Neil Hill's system? I think that is FST. I think that is Neil Yoda Hill system, right? That's not Henny Rambod's. I forget. I will look at this. I don't get too deep because most of that stuff, guys and gals, and I like Neil. I don't know Hanny very well, but most of those guys, truly, they're drug guys. And I don't care. That's fine. I'm no animosity towards it, but they're drug guys, and their training systems don't work for the rest of us. Their training systems only work when used along with copious amounts of performance-enhancing drugs. That's it. Not to disrespect them, but that's the way it truly does work. And most of the bodybuilding prep coaches and gurus, they're drug coaches. And there's a place for that for sure. So I'm not mad at that. But I'm not a fan of their training systems for that one reason. Mohammed, listen, man, I honestly think it is his team who let him down. Greg Hardy is winning the fight regardless. I agree. The team is complicit in this. Paul Riley, Ireland in the house, bees. Great content, Mike F. Greg Hardy, that's funny. Paul Riley, my good friend in Ireland. Hello, mate. Zeke, without the inhaler, he's going to gas out, possibly West End. It's not prohibited. I checked the USADA website today. It's allowed under a certain amount daily. That is true, but then now we have to go to the commission. And what I've read, what I've seen so far is it must be allowed as per the athletic commission that you're competing under their rules. So did he have a therapeutic use exemption to utilize that? Because I could further say, well, why can't I have a cup of coffee? Why can't I have a cup of coffee instead of a bottle of water? Why can't I have a Gatorade? Some states allow a Gatorade, some states don't. You actually have to get approval to utilize that. This is the way it works. People can't just willy-nilly start bringing shit in to the cage, into the ring. Albuterol is a very powerful beta agonist. It is the same family of clenbuterol, a prohibited, categorically prohibited performance-enhancing drug. And I will go further to say, off the record, in my opinion, allegedly, many athletes get albuterol inhaler TUEs as performance enhancers. And most of these athletes are in the track and field world. And I know this for a fact. They will get TEUs or TUEs from doctors who are, fringy doctors. They'll get it. They'll qualify. They'll get it. And they'll be sitting there pumping away on their albuterol inhalers because that does give a discernible effect. Zach C. Hardy's wife is a wife. Hardy is a wife bleeping piece of bleep. Not sure why Dana has a soft spot for his and wants him. I agree. I don't know why the UFC thought to bring him in with all the bad press he gets. And he's not that great of an athlete, not that great of a mixed martial artist. No disrespect, right? He went to the NFL, right? Went to the NFL. Now he's in the UFC. He would get smashed by most of the athletes top 15 in the UFC heavyweight division right now. Hardy would get smashed up. They keep bringing in these gimme fights for Hardy, and that's not fair to the athletes that are in there fighting real dudes. Frank Wells, he got tired and illegally kneed a guy and got DQ'd himself. Exactly. Next time he gets tired, he uses an inhaler. Agreed. He's got a conditioning issue. I agree with that. Zach C. Wes Muhammad, once you beat the F out of a girl, nothing else matters. You are officially a piece. And this is why I say I don't know, because I never followed this story. I've only read the headlines, and it would be remiss of me to make an accusation or to create a full opinion on someone. I never actually read the story. Did he get in trouble? Was he convicted? Was he charged? Like, what happened? Was it just an allegation that was dropped? I don't know enough about it to really chastise him for it. The MMA Dad says, Mike, love your content, brother. It has helped my fighting tremendously. Bang, MMA Dad. Thank you so much, Leroy Kaufman. You're funny, my friend. Heck yes. Zach C says, Yipper, keep speaking the truth, Mike. So much common sense that we all need to hear. Amen. DV says the rule, the athlete will not be permitted to consume any supplements other than bottled water approved by the Athletic Commission and provided by the promoter, supersedes the TUE. Oh, that is awesome. DV8, where did you get that from, DV8? Was that on the Massachusetts athletic site? If you could, please drop that in the comments below. Guys and gals, I have to jump out now. I have to jump off now. I really appreciate you guys. I really do appreciate I have to jump off. I have an appointment. I jumped on just to go hot and have this conversation with you. Leave comments below. Keep this conversation going, guys and gals. Keep this conversation going in the comment section. I'll jump back on in an hour or so, and I'll keep talking too. Remember, subscribe. Click on that little notification bell. Give this video a thumbs up. I appreciate that. And leave comments below. Check yesterday's video. Is it worth it? Definitely watch yesterday's video. Is it worth it? It is worth your time to watch that video. I guarantee it. One of my best car talks, I do believe. Until next time, boom. All right, there we go.